Now that you have learned anything about the layers of the wall, we want to go for learning how to install the walls to the floors in the right way. So let's see some details together. The right way to do it is that, for example, we have a floor here, like this. And then here we have a wall. As you can see, this is actually the main or the core part of the wall. You see? And if it has a thermal too, it places here. But we have nothing to do with that now. The structure is important. And the top of it is this way. Yeah. This way. Now how about the finishing? That's right. From here, from the top, goes to down flatly without getting disconnected. Alright. We also have this one. Now actually I want to talk to you about this detail. You see, look at it very well. How far floor has gone, what it has cut, what has remained flat. These are really important, and I should say that actually that's why Revit is so important. It always pays attention to the details of a design. Alright, now let's go and talk about it. In the last session, when we had a plan, for example this one, where did I say we draw the floor from? From here, that's right. From the exterior side of the wall. Alright? But now that our walls have layers, where should we draw the floor from? Now imagine that this is the magnification of this one. So if this is it, we must not draw our floor from the exterior side anymore. Alright, not from here. Look at this detail. How far has the floor gone? Can you see? Well, if I write some numbers for these, for example 1 to 6, considering this detail, when I want to draw the floor, from which of these numbers should I draw? Or from which part of the wall? Look at these two. From where? That's right, from number 5. Actually, our floor goes until the finish, but it doesn't cut that. Actually, number 5 is the exterior core boundary. Let me also write these numbers in here too. Let me draw the thermal of this part. Yeah. Now, number 1 is the interior finish. Number 2 is this. 3 and 4 are on the thermal. Number 5, exterior core boundary. And 6 is the finish. You see, it's on 5. If you don't understand this well enough, you can't continue. So if you did not learn it, go back, watch it all again, and then continue. So we should draw our floor from the exterior core boundary in a way that it cuts the structure of the wall completely, because the wall sits on the floor, on that concrete, and it's the finish that must continue flatly without getting disconnected. Alright, watch this part again if you need to. Now let's go and draw a cut together so that we can practice all of these together. Because if you want to draw your walls like this, you need some modifiers and you need to do some editings that we are going to learn now. Let's draw a section together now and then start analyzing. For example, imagine that we have a building with multiple floors. As you can see, and these are the levels. We don't care about the name and the height now because it's not our subject. Now, check this out. I draw some walls here. Imagine that this is the kind of wall. It has layers, now it doesn't matter how many. So I draw some walls here. Based on what we analyzed in the last session, the right way to draw the walls was level by level. Even if they were alike, they should have been separated. It means that these walls now are into pieces. Alright? And let me also write it here too. Pieces. Or we can say each of these are floors. It's better. These walls have been drawn as floors. The pieces was not a good word. We also have 2 floors here. And even here too. This one has floors too, so be careful. And then we have one here. Flatly. Actually want to consider this one too, that if we draw a wall flatly without any floors or pieces, what happens? We want to consider this one too. So let me write it up here. Flat. This is one, and also another flat wall which is exterior. This one. Yep. This one has floors too. Let me write it. So now I want you to take a good look at these walls and see the differences. Some of them had some lines between them. We are actually analyzing now that when we connect the walls with the floors, if those walls have levels or into pieces, what happens? If they're not, if they're flat, what happens? I always tell my students that you might go somewhere to work and they tell you that you don't need to make levels, just do it flatly. So in that situation, you need to know it. So I prefer to explain both these models, flat and with levels, but I believe that that kind which is flat is wrong. So let's go and analyze. When I want to draw the floors, I said we should come here and start drawing from the exterior core boundary. So let's start from this level. I didn't draw the layers too, but it has layers. It would be too crowded, so let's start. I draw it until here, and that's it. Now we have some interference between the wall and the floor. And if you remember previous session, I told you that you should ignore it, that I will tell you later. Now I'm here to talk about it. We have an interference in here. Here. Alright. Actually, the wall must become a bit short and stick to the floor. In the last session that we were practicing, when we finished the floor, it gave us a warning. That warning was because of this. What was it that I said click on no? That's right, attach. But what does it do? It makes the wall shorter and sticks it to the bottom of the floor. And it does it automatically. And just like you saw it previous sessions, this happens automatically and you don't need to do anything. Just click on yes. Alright? That's all you should do. Now, in what situations you think this attach happens? It happens the times that the end of the wall has reached the floor but not crossed it. Let me draw it for you. See, this is the attach. Now, this one is a floor and this is a wall. The wall has reached the floor but it hasn't crossed it. Like this. This is called attach. We have some other forms too. For example, this one. That's how it becomes, like this. So keep these two in your minds, these are the examples for attach. Okay? So here we have attach. Now, here, what do you think happens here? Here we have an interference between the wall and the floor, but the wall has crossed the floor. In these times, we have something called join. Do you know what join does? Join makes the wall this way. You see? Join clears the place of the floor in the wall. That I should say, fortunately, this is automatic too. It's really good for us. But you didn't see it the previous sessions because you drew floor by floor based on what we agreed. So here we have a join. The times that the wall hits to the floor and cross it. So check this out. I want to draw it for you graphically. Alright. Now, one of the forms is that when the exterior wall hits to the floor, and that's how it will be. Now, this is the wall and this is the floor. Now, here, your join is automatic, and I want you to pay attention, alright? Let me write it for you. What is the other form? It's this way. Just like this one, you see? Like this. The interior wall crosses the floor. But it's not in the edges, it's actually an interior wall. So now, this is the wall and this is the floor. And here we have join too, but the join here is manual, not automatic. That means that you have to manage the join here yourself manually. And I will tell you how we should do it. So we learned how to solve the interference in here. So what was it? That's right, the manual join. Just like that. We only have these three. One of them is attached, that is always automatic. Manual join for the interior walls that cross the floor. The automatic join that is for the exterior walls, which also cross the floor. And if you remember these that I drew for you, you will never make a mistake, I assure that. And I should say that the software does all of these automatically, so don't worry. But I want you to know what you're doing on the software. Not just don't know anything. I don't want you to just click on yes and the software does what it does. Alright, now I want to go and draw rest of the floors too. And then we will analyze that which of these three forms can fix the interference. There's actually another form too, and that's we don't need to fix anything. That's a form. So the first one is attach, 2 manual join, automatic join, and number 4 no interference, or we can say none. No interference and no need to be fixed. Okay? So I draw the floors first and then we will check these out together. You pay attention. The finish goes inside, as I told you. Alright, before we start analyzing the interference, I want to remind you that these two walls have levels, or they have pieces. Those two in the end are flat. Now you say, so let's start from here. Now what is this? No interference, attach, manual join, or the automatic join? Which one? If you say automatic join, you haven't paid attention to this one. You actually thought that these two are like each other, which is wrong. That was flat. This one has pieces. This is over. So it's like which one? Exactly like this one. You see, the wall finishes here and hits to the floor. Just like this one. So what is this? That's right, attach. And it's not automatic or manual either. Now let's check this one. What is this? Can you say? Take a look at the graphics too. If you think it's attached, it's wrong. But why? Because first of all, we said that attach is about the interference of top of the wall to the floor. And secondly, they don't have interference. Let me draw it a bit bigger. You see, this is the floor and that's the wall. They're sitting on each other, they have nothing to do with each other. So here, no interference. And neither in here, or even here. Yeah? No interference and no need to be fixed. Now this one, what do you think this one is? This is exactly like this one. So the wall comes here and hits to the floor. So it's attached. What about this one? That's right, attach. Now this one, hey, can you say it's like this? No interference. It's exactly like this. It sits on the floor and no interference. And what about this one? The wall crosses and it's not in the corner either. So what is it? It's the manual join. And this is clear too, the wall has crossed and it's in the corner, so it's the automatic join. And these repeat too, just like the one under it. Attach, attach, and this one manual join and the automatic join. Now tell me the last floor. Can you say the interference of all the walls and the floors in the last floor? That's right, they are these two. All of them are attached. So don't say this is again join automatic. Now the wall has not crossed, so it's not automatic join. Remember. So all of these are attached. Now analyze this picture for yourself. It is in here. We have to analyze some other points too, and then we will go and draw it. And I'm sure you will be able to learn it all in a perfect way. Now let me remind you, since you draw the walls with levels and separate it from each other, to pieces, you will not face this automatic and manual join and interior walls and all that much, just like you didn't face it in the last session, because all the walls were into levels. Now let's analyze some very small points and then we will go to Revit and again I will tell you all of these there too. When you use these tools to fix, something happens. So pay attention, that I'm going to tell you a really important thing now. Now we want to analyze three details together. One of them is this one, which is A, detail A. One of them here, B, and another one up here, detail C. And these things happen while you're working, so be aware of it so that you can solve it easily. Now, what happens in detail A? I draw it. That's how it becomes. This is the floor. This is the wall. Alright? The finish is here. Let me draw it with another color. Alright? Now, we have some kinds of stairs here. You see it like this that we want to talk about. Now, this happens the times that the wall sits on the floor but does not continue. Now, for example, you think, can you say more examples? Yes, I can. The top of the consoles, the same thing happens. So we have these problems too. Now this finish must come down and cover this problem. This is our object that we will talk about. So this is detail A. And I also said that this can happen the top of the console too. Now, detail B, what happens there? In B, this is how it becomes. See? Oh, it got a bit bad. Well, that's how it becomes. We have space here that we shouldn't have. But why does it happen? Well, this wall was already in here, yeah? Or you can say up here, and that was the finish, and this one was the finish too. So when it's attached, it comes down, doesn't it? You see, it was already until up here, so when it's attached, it comes down. Now, does just the structure come down? No, the finish comes down too. Now, when the finish comes down, we have a space here on the view. And we'll talk about this later. This is detail B. Now, let's go for the C. What do you think happens there? This is the floor. This is the wall. And this is the finish. This is the same thing actually. The wall has been until here. When it's attached, it has come down, you know? And that's a problem. And also remember that if you consider a shelter for your work, you see, if you have a shelter like this, it's exactly like this one. It happens the time that you don't have a shelter, and this one is detail C. Now let's go and draw this together and also analyze some points and tell you how we should fix these spaces that have been created. Before I start drawing, and then you can draw like me, I need to tell you 7 points. Now I'm going to explain them to you, but just I tell you them. Then when we go and draw, you can face those points. Okay? The first point. The height of the walls that are attached to the floor will not change anymore until they get detached from the floor. And don't worry, I will explain all of these while practicing. I want you to learn it in the best way. Now we're just analyzing the titles. That's it. The next point, I said that the walls must be detached, otherwise the height will not change. But how? The second point. So, to detach, first select the wall and then click on the detach from the menu and then click on detach all. This detach all is really important. I've seen a lot that many people just click on this detach and they leave it and that's it. Well, it won't work. You need to click on detach all too. So select the wall, detach and then detach all. The third point, for manual attach, you might say we didn't have manual attach. No, well, sometimes it's needed. It's not that much useful in this topic, but in the next topics it can be really useful. So for manual attach, select the wall. From the menu, click on attach and then click on the floor. Alright? To the floor that is going to be attached to. Now, the fourth point. For the manual join, and we actually explained that what times, what situations we need to use this manual join. We actually need to use this manual join in other situations too. It's not just this one. Okay. For the manual join, go to the modify headline, and then the join, as you can see, by using this join command, one click on the wall and one click on the floor. The right view to do this is cut. The right view for this is cut. I mean, the cut is the best place to do this manual join. If we had multiple walls, we can use the multiple join. Yeah, we can use the multiple join, just like you can see, and the way of doing it will be explained while practicing. The fifth point, the floors that are added in the levels do not have the automatic join and attach. So the floors that are added in the levels don't have an automatic join and attach. But what does it mean? Do you remember how we added the number of the doors and the windows in the levels? Well, we have the same thing about the floor. If you draw a floor in a level and then copy it in other levels, it does not do the automatic attach anymore. Now, to solve this, we need to select the floor of each level one by one. Alright, you need to select your floors in each level one by one. And then click on Edit Boundary and then Finish. Alright, select the floors one by one, then click on Edit Boundary and then Finish. Now what happens here? It thinks that you have just drawn this, it's new, So it starts to solve the interference. Then the attached message shows up and the join message if there is one. The sixth point, the unconnected walls are not attached automatically. So if you draw a floor and then suddenly the attached message comes and you click on yes, and then you see a couple of walls in the middle are not attached, the first thing you suspect is that maybe the walls aren't connected, So you should select them and analyze them very carefully. The last point, if a part of the wall is out of the floor, it might not get attached. It won't be attached at all, neither automatically nor manual, nothing. Now let's go and create that cut I explained on it. And after that, you are supposed to do it. And I should really tell you that if you just play the video and watch it and just improve and you just want to finish it, it's not good at all. Just want to finish seasons and episodes, it won't be useful, really. It's exactly like sitting in a classroom and just look at the teacher and do nothing. You will not learn anything, definitely. And if suddenly you have any questions, I explain some ways to make you able to contact with me and ask your questions. So, we have 5 levels now. Now, it's not added in here, so what should I do? View, plan view, floor plan. And I have nothing to do with these two for now. I said we can add those two, but for now, I only need floor plan. Let me see the 3D2. In level 1, I draw 3 walls. I'm designing now with that 3 layer. That 5 layer was yours, if you remember. I select them all, copy, align to selected levels, 2, 3, 4. A cut. If you double click on the head of the sections, when you want to select, it opens the section, and you can also open it from here. When you open the section, your section might be like this. If this happens to you, then it has been cropped. Here you have a do not crop view. Click on it. Well, we have a lot to talk about these things, but for now leave it and we will talk about that. Hide the crop region too. And one more thing, your sections must be always fine. Based on what we had in the picture, we didn't have these, not even this one, but these were flat if you remember. So I will delete them. And these two will go to level 5, opposite of what we said. Now, did you understand the question? I want you to design just like me. Now this is right, this is flat, and these are into pieces. So, I go to level 1 to start hidden line so that you can see better. I select the floor. Now, to remind you, what kind of the floor is this that I'm drawing now? That's right, the structural. That on it is the TOS level, if you remember. So I select the floor. To draw it, we agreed to use the exterior core boundary. If I select this wall and start drawing from here, it's correct, definitely. But now we are going to get familiar with a new tool called Pick Walls. And this is a very useful tool, really nice. Pick Walls has two benefits. The first one is that if you click on your wall, it knows where to put the floor line. But how does it know? It actually identifies the core of the wall. You see it? Here it says extend into wall to core. Core boundary identifies the wall. Now, if you have designed your wall in a wrong way, the pick wall will not work correctly either. I already said if you don't do this right, you will have a problem later, and that's it, that's the problem. So the first benefit is that if you click on the wall, it identifies the core. And remember, it identifies both cores. And if your mouse is on this side, it identifies the core of that side. If it's on that side, it identifies the core of this side. But it won't be on the finish line, which is wrong anymore. A good news is that if you put it on this side and then figure it out in the end, click on this arrow and then it will be the opposite of it. It will be fixed. And it will fix all of them, not just this one that your mouse is on. And in the end, if it's still wrong, you can fix it, it's okay. Now, the second benefit. The second benefit is that it makes it so much easier and quicker for us to work. Do you remember I said while selecting, if you click on tab, it selects serially. Do you remember? Pick walls has this feature too. If you select the pick wall and then move your mouse on this wall and click on tab, you see all around it is highlighted. Not selected, but highlighted. Nothing happens until you click, alright? It's just highlighted. So you move your mouse here, but you don't click. You should just stay here and then click on tab. When all of them are highlighted, then you should click. Yeah? Well, it can be so much easier and quicker. Just imagine a very big project. How much quicker can the floor be drawn? So, move your mouse on the wall, tap, it gets highlighted, and then click. Some people have this wrong belief that, for example, this is our plan, and definitely when our floor comes here, it must go up and turns like this. So they select the floor and then pick walls, then tap on this, and then they wonder why this happened, why it didn't highlight the whole design. Well, I say that the pick wall has no idea what is in your mind. It has no idea you have connected something else to it, alright? So we understand that pick wall is not something that you just click on tap and then it selects all of it. And the second thing we understand that sometimes using pick walls is not useful, is not possible. Now, for example, here I tab once on this one and selected and another one on this one and selected. But now it needs to be fixed. It has some extra lines there. But definitely it's better than drawing them one by one. First of all, this is wrong. I throw it away. Then what should I do? This one doesn't finish definitely because these lines are extra. So I select the trim and trim these. So we learned something now. Tab does not always work well. If you have a small project, definitely it's really good for you, but the big projects sometimes it can be so annoying. And you can't always use it. In most of the projects, in many levels, we should tap and then fix it. And in the projects that they're really complicated and they have a broken plan, I tell you to forget about the tab completely. I remember once I told my students to do a practice, then after that someone came up to me and told me that my tab was not working. Well, it doesn't matter, you should have done it one by one. That's what I told him. It doesn't have to be tab. Click on pick wall and do it one by one. Alright? Anyway. The first floor. And if you remember, this one is okay. I move my mouse here and tap. And when I finish, no warning shows up. Why? Because there's no interference. So let's go to level 2. If your view is not on fine, your pick wall still works. It does not have to see the layers and then work on them. So I select the floor, pick wall, I stay here and tap, and then finish. Then I go to 3D so that you can see what is actually happening. Then I click on finish. Oh, what does it say? This is the same message that we had previous session. So it says that would you like walls that go up to this floor's level to attach to its bottom? Because there is interference, so I say yes, please. Now the next message, if you remember that flat wall I said it's not attached, it uses the join. It says the floor overlaps the highlighted wall. So would you like me to cut the overlapping by the join? Definitely yes. Now this is a sign that shows a wall has been attached. Now what is the sign that shows it has been joined? When you go on it, you see two blue highlights, and that shows the join. Now, what has happened to this wall? Why is it like this? A part has been removed by the join. So, let's go to level 3. I select the floor, tab, yes, and yes. Now, level 4, the same thing. Now, let's just see what happens if we click on no for just a comparison. So, we click on no when it says to attach, and also to join. Now let's go to the cut and compare these two together. Let's go. You see here, I've already analyzed this for you. It was up, it was attached, and then it came down. And here we have a space now. And this one too. Now here, the answers to the questions have been all yes. It has been attached, this one has been attached. You see here, has been so clean. This one has been joined. Now let's go to the next floor that we clicked on no. You see this floor has interference. Also here. So what should we do? We are now disappointed that we clicked on no when that message came. What should we do now? Considering the points that I told you before, do you have any solutions? That's right. Based on what we talked about, if you edit the boundary of that floor one more time and again click on finish, the message will turn up again. Yes, yes. Let's go to the cut and yeah, that's right too. Level 5. Why cannot we see anything here? Can you say? The underlay is off. So we come here and turn on the underlay of level 4 and draw the floor. If you remember the last topic, I said that you'd better keep the underlay of the previous floor on. So select the floor, pick walls, tab, finish. And it's the last floor, so it's just attach. And that's how it becomes. The two details we talked about, one of them is this, that has a space, and the other one is here. Now, let's analyze the points and then end this part. The first point says that when a wall attaches to a floor, its height does not change. Now I select this wall and it's up to level 5. I bring it up to level 3. But it doesn't happen. It can't happen. But why? Because it says that I have been told to stick under this floor. I've been attached under this floor. And then it says that I have to detach if I want to come to level 3. And this is the second point. So if we want to detach this wall from this floor, select it and then click on detach from here. But not just this, and then click on detach all. When you do this, it detaches. Now it goes to any level you want. And also remember that it doesn't join again automatically. You see, just like this. Now you say that, for example, I've disappointed, I've come to level 5 again and I want to get attached again. So, one way is to edit the boundary of this floor and then finish, but it's just one wall, we don't need to do all that. So the third point, we do it manually. Select the wall, click on attach, and then click on the floor. Alright, let me remind you something. The select element by face, and I hope you can still remember it. If it's off, when you select this and say attach this to this one, let me turn it off. Now look, You see, it's not highlighted. And when it doesn't highlight it, it does not work. When this is off, you cannot select the floor from here. Don't forget this option at all, it's really important. When this is on, you can do the attaching. When it's off, you cannot even select. Yeah? When this is off, I cannot go to the level 4 and select my floor. You see, I cannot do it so that I can use the edit boundary again. Please don't forget this. I told you there are two conditions. One of them is that it must be select element by face, and the other one is that it must not be wireframe. Even if your select element by face is on, but it's on wireframe, it doesn't work. If you don't select the floor, you cannot use the edit boundary finish. Yeah? So you get nervous. So always be careful about this. You learned the manual attach too. The fourth point is manual join. And it says you'd better do it in the section. You see these? This must be joined manually. Modify, join, wall, floor. Be careful what is highlighted. If you click on here, the wall joins the wall. Your mouse always senses what has been highlighted. So remember what is highlighted while you're selecting. In all the tools, in everything you do in Revit, be careful about this highlight. So I click on the floor. You see what happens? The extra part of the wall that was into the floor was deleted. Let me do this one too. And it does not matter which one you click on first. This time I click on this one first. I said if there were too many of them, you can use the multiple join. For example, this wall has 3 join. But how do I use the multiple join? You click on join and then activate the multiple join. And then select that object. That now it's this wall. Now you should open a box to select these 3 floors. Let me tell you again, you have 3 joins here. I clicked on join and also activated the multiple join. Now I select the wall and then open a box to select those 3 levels that must be joined to the wall. Also be careful to inactivate the multiple join when you're finished. It can be so annoying, so inactivate it. Alright. After inactivating the multiple, you can also select the levels by clicking on them one by one, not just by opening a box. Maybe something appears in your box in the middle that does not have to be there, so you can do it one by one. The 5th point I explained, but well, let me tell you again. See, I delete these 2 floors, then copy the floor that is in level 3 and then paste it to the levels in level 4 and 5. You see, nothing happens, no message, no overlap, nothing shows up. So what should we do? We go to level 4 and we see that this level is wireframe. So edit boundary, finish. Yes, yes. Now level 5. Select. Instead of edit boundary, we can double click. Finish. Yes. It was the last floor, so the join didn't appear. The point number 6 and 7 are clear. The unconnected walls cannot be attached automatically. And number 7 says that if a bit of it is out, it might not get attached. Now I want you to draw just like what you're seeing now, with the same details and the same delicacy. If you had any questions, you can contact with me and be aware of it. then you can continue to the last part of this topic. So, good luck.